Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. I hope everyone's having a fantastic middle of the week. I sure am. I've deleted several videos, and I'm going to discuss with you guys why I deleted those videos regarding the Clayton Echard versus Jane Doe paternity case that's rocking Maricopa County, Arizona, and all of Bachelor Nation. So the question in my thumbnail here is, will I get sued? I don't have the answer to that. I can't look in a crystal ball. I don't believe so. I've been in contact with Jane Doe. I received a very sternly worded email from her that she, basically said, remove these videos or I will hit you with a lawsuit. Now, we get into this theoretical conversation on whether I'm right or wrong. Am I being defamed? Am I defaming her? All these types of things. But the truth is, as a third-party person who's covering this trial, do I want to get sucked into a lawsuit, even if I feel like I've got merit and can win that? And the answer is no, of course I don't want to get sucked into a lawsuit. I don't like lawsuits, do you? I mean, I did background work on the show Law & Order, and I also stood in for Patrick Adams on the show Suits. So I know a thing or two around the legal system. I'm kidding. But either way, I'm going to share with you guys the two videos she asked me to remove. I obliged. And then I'm going to discuss a little bit further into what subjects in those videos I believe I am still allowed to talk about. If Jane Doe wants to email me, she has my email, and she can. I am operating 12 hours ahead of the West Coast, as I am near the equator in the Indian Ocean. So I got the message from her threatening a lawsuit. I'm not calling it a threatening message, but it was a message threatening a lawsuit. And then I actually saw this note from her on Reddit, which I believe to be public in the sense that if she's sharing this information, I think it's fine that I read that here, right? So she said, everything I have read here has really brought me to the brink because no one wants to hear the truth. Yes, lawsuits are coming, especially to the user who uploaded a 35-minute video defaming me when I have evidence to disprove everything he said. And yes, I'll be taking the test tomorrow. So as we just showed you in the last video, Clayton Echard took his paternity test, and we believe that Jane Doe, who I respectfully have called her Jane Doe this whole process, even though I could say her name, it wouldn't make a difference, right? But either way, out of respect to not sharing her name until maybe the results are final or there's more information out there. Anyway, so I got this message sent to me that she posted that she's threatening a lawsuit. And then I wanted to show you what the videos were. So the first one is this actually recent video I made several days ago, which shares the email that was leaked of Clayton's in the redacted content of that email. Now, I don't believe this is the reason why she thinks I'm defaming her, because I'm just reading an email that exists. It's just an email. I'm just reading someone's Gmail email. That's not a thing that you can prove is not factual. You'd have to prove that I maliciously photoshopped the email, and I didn't do that. I'll share with you what Clayton said in a moment, but that was the first thing there. Actually, share it right now. So here's what she posted above, and then here's the actual email below. It's an email from Clayton. On the email version above, which, by the way, Jane Doe has, and again, I actually have had very pleasant emails with Jane Doe. I find them to be very cordial. It's almost like having a pen pal at this point. So it doesn't mean she isn't going to sue me. She could be pleasant and then sue me. But either way, I think I've illustrated to her my goal is to get to the truth. I'm not a Clayton Echard fanboy. I've just covered multiple stories where Clayton has had to have his name dragged through false accusations. Not this one, but in the past with TikTok Girl and all that. So anyway, she sent all this information in this document dump, which I shared. And part of her accusations are saying, you're only sharing these other people. You're not sharing what I'm telling you. And I'm just saying, I've shared what she has said. But she, very conveniently, if you ask me, redacted this black bar above. And I'm going to share with you what that black bar was. The black bar below says, considering you only performed oral sex on me and no vaginal penetration occurred, the chances of you being pregnant seem considerably low. And then once people saw this, they go, oh my gosh, is this true? Did they not even have sex? which I think makes it very clear for me to write new leaked email is proof. Now, malicious and premeditated, that's what a commenter said. I clipped it up because this is how you make a YouTube thumbnail, a hit thumbnail, right? And then I shared pieces of that email. So I don't believe in good spirit, and Jane Doe can message me if I'm wrong here, and then I'll have to take this video down, and boy, that's going to piss off my wife. She's like, can we go to bed already? And it's like, no, hold on. But either way, I think I've done a pretty damn good job offering the best faith of pursuing the truth. My moral barometer is in the direction of what is true. And we're getting information that this thing's faked and that thing's faked, or when we're redacting something. Let me put it this way. If I was to tell my wife, hey, I'm going out to Applebee's, and then she finds out I'm at a strip club, was I sharing the truth? Well, maybe I went to an Applebee's and then I went to a strip club, but I redacted telling my wife I went to a strip club. I would assume my wife would be very upset with me if I did not have maybe permission in my relationship to go watch other women dance on a table or whatever. Glitter everywhere, you know what I mean? She's like, there's glitter at Applebee's? It's like, you should see this Applebee's. The blooming onion hit me. It's a whole thing, right? So Dave, how could you make a joke out of this scenario? I'm just trying my best to illustrate that redacting something is almost not sharing the truth. So when I see an email, right here, when I see the email and the very pertinent information that he says we didn't even have sex is redacted, I lose faith and trust in Jane Doe. I lose faith in that moment. It's almost like if this is a long game, you struck out. That doesn't mean the game's over, but you struck out right there. And that's just me looking for the truth. I think that's fair to say. If I was to be sued for defamation, for reading an email I see right here, I have to think that lawsuit wouldn't go too far. Now, look, I don't take the threat of a lawsuit frivolously. I have actually retained what I believe to be a power attorney, somebody that has litigated lawsuits in the form of defamation law, upwards of 9-figure levels. I mean, I'm talking big, powerful lawyers here. So I'm not taking this lightly. But what I am going to do, and actually, you know what? Stick around. I'll tell you my plan in a second, and it's the same thing I would tell Jane Doe. This isn't some giant game I'm playing of Battleship over here. We're just trying to do our job, and you guys have trusted me with that. And I think if you can leave a comment here, you'll agree that I respect that trust you guys have given me, and I'm not taking it lightly. So Jane Doe had posted, different things publicly. Again, I'm just sharing public things that are out there that she posted. She's offered this information up. I didn't dig this out of her trash or whatever. The different comments here, one saying that Greg was the sleuth. Now, to rewind the previous video here, the one that accused of defaming her, we talked about the fact that there was a set of facts that came out from the courthouse in Arizona. I'll get to those facts in a second. Actually, I'll get to them right now. So I believe right here it's 1227. Let's see if we can find this. Or actually, no, it's over here. It's 1227, and the next one is 1345. So there's going to be this set of facts that come out. Now, you can't read it. It's blurred out. So don't sue me for this. It's like literally 2 megapixels, right here. It's like 420p. You can't, it's super blurry. But the point, I'll even make it more blurry. So the point is, in this now privated YouTube video, which I've made private, I shared this evidence that someone provided that they went to court to call out Jane Doe, to say, you know what, you lied. This information is public. We can talk about it. Now she's claiming actually Greg is the guy who went there, who was the person she had another issue with in the law that I think is still an ongoing lawsuit. In which case, if it is private and not public information, there may be a scenario where she could sue me for defamation. If it's not, I don't know. Again, lawyers, please DM me. But my point being that I'm sharing her side. She said, you need to share my side. I'm sharing her side. She wrote this. Greg was the sleuth, the man who found out all that information. She said, it makes more sense as to why Ashley and Greg were giving cheers to the sleuths when they were the sleuths. That was an Instagram story I showed where the former person she briefly dated, that he claims she faked a pregnancy. She claims that, whatever. So that whole story, she claims Greg is the guy. And this is what she had to say. I received a call back from Manny Vargas with the Dreamy Draw Justice Court today, who told me that Greg was the one who came into the court and not only requested paper copies, but for them to be emailed to him as well. He said, since it was never in effect, the petitioner is the only one who can get copies. Greg never got it served because what was on it was fabricated. The topics posted by Greg Greg and about this need to come down. He is harassing me despite my order of protection, which was served against him. AZ is a one-party state, so I am able to post this, and then she shares some audio. So Jane Doe, respectfully, I'm giving you the floor here. So Jane Doe says that Greg is harassing her, and despite the order of protection, this is all going down. She's saying that Greg is the only one who can get copies of this. That may be true, in which case I'll take my video down, absolutely, which is why I did. The video's down. Now, I just so happen to be going to Phoenix in the next couple weeks for some business. I will be there on official business, and maybe I'll swing by the courthouse and confirm that, in which case I can then give Jane Doe the point and say, all right, Jane Doe wins this round. She was right. These are sealed documents. They should not be aired because she has an ongoing court case or whatever the case may be. So I can go there and I can give her that point and say, okay, the truth set her free in that case. Now, if they were to hand me the court documents, then we make a YouTube video and I share you the court documents and I share you the $10 it costs to print them at Kinko's. Does Kinko's even exist anymore? Oh, the printer industry. What a fraud that is. And someone had commented this. Could you imagine Greg's long play here? Start a Reddit account years ago. Start posting about The Bachelor. Date a woman for 9 days. Seek and get a protection order that includes a completely fabricated story about her harassing you. Contacting your parents and being pregnant with twins. Never serve the order. Then wait 2 years for that woman to give oral sex to a former bachelor and for her to get somehow pregnant with twins. And then wait for said woman to take it all to Reddit. Then it's Greg's time to shine. He goes to the courthouse to get the protective order, which somehow contains an experience nearly identical to Clayton's, and he posted on The Bachelor's second Sarbalist success. Now, that's someone else's comment. That's not me. I'm just reading another public comment. It could be, and again, we're offering our opinions and we're offering our theoretical conditions of what might happen. It could be that Greg does have some crazy and weird vendetta against his former girlfriend of 9 days, and she dragged him, so he's dragging her back. I'm truly not too sure. I don't know Greg, and I can't vouch for him. I can't really vouch for Clayton, but we have yet to see Clayton tell a lie here. So that takes us to video number 2. Court docs show shocking fraud and deceit. Now, these court documents do exist. I mean, we saw them. They were signed off by judges. That doesn't mean they're true. That just means whoever submitted these documents under penalty of perjury, which means they could do jail time if proven that they were lying, said that this is a reverse image searched, they said they reverse image searched this ultrasound, and it showed that it was from a blog from 2014. Now, that doesn't mean it's true. That just means that's what they're accusing. So I don't think it's me defaming anybody by sharing that, look, this is what this person is showing. Court documents allege, maybe I should have said allege. Court documents allege shocking fraud and deceit. Okay, that's what they allege. And then we'll go to the different titles here. So this is the video she has asked me to remove. Respectfully, I think Jane Doe is okay with me sharing the parts that I believe are not defamatory. And that includes my intro. Now, I made this video at 4 a.m., the morning of a flight across the world to Qatar, where I was in the Middle East. So I didn't flippantly make this video. I actually worked really hard on this 35-minute long video, which is the video that she was referencing, I'm assuming here, saying that I defamed her. Now, again, there may be aspects of this video that she believes were defamatory, and it really all comes down to what the truth is. So here's just a few clips of what I believe is not defamatory from this video.
Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News.
And that's it. No, I'm just kidding.
The story regarding former Bachelor Clayton Echard and the alleged claim that he knocked up his real estate client with twins has reached its fever pitch. I'm going to lay out for you guys all of the new documents that have been leaked online from previous men.
Okay, so I'm not going to share those documents with you. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that they are not public and whatever the case may be. But these are the documents where we compared what he said was the doctored things. Again, these are his allegations, you know what I mean? So it's not defamatory to share his allegations. I mean, if it is, go sue him, not me. You know what I mean? I'm just, So either way, he had a counter counterclaim of fraud and said, upon information and belief, plaintiff knowingly and falsely represented the defendant that she was pregnant with the intent to force defendant into a relationship. So his claim was that she was trying to force him into a relationship. His claim, okay? Not mine, just reading his claim. Let's go to the next part here. And again, I'm just going through these in the areas that I believe are not defamatory. I believe none of it is, because I believe that it is someone's opinion on what happened. Prior to filing her complaint, plaintiff provided sonographic images to defendant on August 6th and 8th. However, a reverse Google image search revealed that the sonographic images were identical to a sonogram found on a blog post. Again, I don't know if that is true, but we'd have to get into the next level of this countersuit, which I don't believe is over. I believe it's still in the works. I could be wrong there, but the information goes on and on about that the plaintiff altered images allegedly with the name, her name, date of birth, and location of the sonogram, and altered the appearance of the image to distinguish it from the one located on the aforementioned blog post. So these are the accusations being made against her. Again, I don't know. I don't think, maybe my opinion in the matter is defamatory to her, or at least considered that. And again, this email that was received to the guy here, I'm assuming they're talking about Greg, involved the letterhead from these different lawyers. But apparently when cross-referenced and when they called the lawyers, they said they never sent this email, and actually had people listed that were no longer working at the company. So either way, I think this is all valid to talk about. It doesn't mean it's all accurate. It means these are the accusations being made to her. You know, anyone can make an accusation. If I cover someone's accusations to somebody else, does that make me defaming them? If I stated them as facts, I suppose. I'm not a defamation lawyer, but that's why I have one. So then you get into the question of defining defamation, because it's different if it's a private figure versus a public figure. Definition of a private figure in terms of defamation law. A private figure is not in the public eye. Unlike public figures, they have not been drawn into a public controversy, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, and they are not a public official or a celebrity. Now, is Jane Doe a celebrity? No. Is she verified on Instagram as a podcast host and as a person who has spoke publicly with different organizations? Yes. I guess she's on the question where people go, is she a public figure or not? I think that counts as a public figure, but either way, having not mentioned her name, I was under the belief that because I didn't mention her name, that this was not a problem. Someone commented this. Regarding the defamation lawsuit coming, if she's referring to Dave Neal's video, she was. He never even mentions her name. And I believe her when Jane Doe emailed me and said, hey, if there's reasonable ways for people to find out who the person is, then it is still considered defamation. But again, remember, defamation has to be somebody willingly and maliciously telling a lie. I'm just sharing what is in these, what I believe to be public court records. Someone commented this. I don't understand why she was trying to win in the court of public opinion if no one even knew her name. Even if no one believed her from the beginning, which most people did, it wouldn't matter because no one could directly attack her. If her statement was true, she would have kept quiet and let lawyers handle the situation, knowing the truth would come out eventually, especially given her background. If I knew I had all this stuff from my past publicly available, I'd never say anything. Completely unrelated situation, but as an example, I played basketball in high school and absolutely sucked. I have never told anyone I played because I know they could search my name and find my stats, which I'd love to somehow get rid of. So embarrassing. Like, I won't even admit to playing basketball in high school, so I cannot imagine having an order of protection granted against me, deciding to repeat the situation and publicly talking about it as if it didn't exist and no one would find me. She brought this upon herself, and to be honest, it just confirms that she's an absolutely unhinged liar. Now, I'm not endorsing this person's comments. These are just a comment someone made regarding the situation. I actually have great empathy. And I hope I'm coming off as graceful as possible to Jane Doe, because either she's telling the truth and we have misrepresented her and slandered her and she's carrying the unborn twins of Clayton's by, either that's the case or there's something more sinister going on, in which case I feel bad for her either way. I truly, truly do. But But I don't understand how that's defamation, and I still don't. But either way, whether or not something is defamatory or not doesn't mean you can't get clogged up in the legal system, something I don't want to do. So I offer this to Jane Doe. Send me timestamps of where I'm getting things wrong, and let me on my platform discuss that in a way, because it's like, look, you could tell me to take the videos down, right? But 33,000 people already saw that video. 25,000 people already saw the other video, right? So rather than make it pretend like it all went away, let's have that public conversation. Share with me timestamps of where I got something wrong and tell me through whatever evidence you have of how I can fix that. I'd love to ameliorate the conversation because we were all about finding the truth here. So I shared this in the last video, and I am not claiming whatsoever in one way or another that this Jane Doe has the same issue. But the Munchausen mom, how one woman fabricated the pregnancy and deaths of imaginary twins, is a story where somebody had a disorder that led to them believing this lie where she was actually pregnant with twins, even though she had already had her tubes tied and it wasn't even going to happen. She actually held a funeral for these unborn twins after they had passed, of course, with the cremated urns of those twins, and even though they were empty, she believed this. She had this disorder that she believed it. Common presentations of Munchausen syndrome, a person with Munchausen syndrome, I'm probably saying that wrong, may convince doctors in many ways that they have a certain disorder. Now, it doesn't specifically talk about pregnancy, but they talk about pretending to be in pain, exaggerated symptoms, faking symptoms, tamper with diagnostic tests, contaminating a urine sample with sugar or blood, interfering with a medical condition so that recovery isn't possible, repeatedly open or contaminate a skin wound, or not take prescribed medication. So the syndrome is actually presented in a lot of cases where people will actually, or moms or dads or whoever has a syndrome, will keep their kids sick for some twisted reason. It's a mental health issue and disorder. And again, I'm not saying that's with Jane Doe, but when we look at all the different scenarios as Clayton laid out, he took the test, she's taking hers. She's either pregnant and it's his. She's either pregnant and it's not his. She's either not pregnant and she never was. She's either not pregnant because she had a stillbirth. And if one of those scenarios is true, which one of them is, one of those, let's do it. Let's say this one more time. Please forgive me for trying to get this right. And Jane Doe, please understand, trying to get it right here. And I think my audience will back me up on this. It's either Clayton's baby, it's not Clayton's baby, there is no baby. And I think and if there is no baby, it's either because of a stillbirth or because there was a complete lie and there was never. So there's only one of four things that it could be. Once we have the results of that, which should be sometime next week, we will continue further with this conversation. And then if there is no baby, it kind of leads to, well, is there no baby because your tests came back faulty positive, or is there proof that something more sinister happened? And if that proof comes out, and we share that proof, for sure, that's not defamation, because defamation does not exist when you are just sharing the truth. And we will continue to report this. Now, as for the other accounts that haven't shared this, Nick Viles was going to talk about it on his channel. He hasn't, and plenty of others haven't talked about it. I completely understand people wanting to avoid it. That's why I was quick to take the videos down. You might say, Dave, don't you have a spine? Stick up for it. Well, there's other people in my life, namely my wife and my family, that don't need to deal with the stresses that come with being in a defamation lawsuit or that. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I will continue to share what I believe to be is right, and I will continue to seek counsel as I may need it, but I will not be bullied. And I don't believe Jane Doe is doing that, but I do believe the court of law can be used to silence others, and I'm going to continue to seek the facts, and we won't be silenced. Not on this court case, and not as we continue to cover other aspects of Bachelor Nation. Well, that's going to do it for me right now. If you want to join and support my channel, you can go to patreon.com/Dave Neal. We appreciate the private memberships and all the different people that have subscribed to the community. It helps us pay the bills, and boy, them lawyers ain't cheap, folks. All right, well, that's it. Will I get sued? Jury's out. But we'll find out more, and maybe I'll have to go travel to the court system there in Arizona. I hear it's beautiful this time of year. All right, folks, have a good day, and you can find me on Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast, right after this.